Let the Senate be guided by history in probing Natasha's Geneva trip. Femi Falana, SAN. Welcome to Sinok Media. If you are viewing our channel for the first time, please subscribe, like, and share our videos. Also, put on your notification button to receive our updates as we drop them. History is the study of past events, particularly in human affairs. It is the study of change over time, and it covers all aspects of human society: political, social, economic, scientific, technological, medical, cultural, intellectual, religious, and military developments are all part of history. It's an inquiry into what happened in the past, when it happened, and how it happened. It is an inquiry into the inevitable changes in human affairs in the past and the ways these changes affect, influence, or determine the patterns of life in the society. History is or should be an attempt to rethink the past. This seems to be the position of learned Sikh Femi Falana. A people that are conversant with their history are likely not to make the mistakes that led to the history being made in the first place. In 1994, Dr. Beko Ransom Kuti, the chairman of the Campaign for Democracy, CD, traveled to India to attend the meeting of the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative. At the material time, he was the only African member of the international body. At about the same time, I, Femi Falana, traveled to Canada to deliver some lectures on the human rights situation in Nigeria. During my stay in Canada, I received an award on behalf of the CD. Upon our return to Nigeria on January 14, 1995, both of us were arrested and kept at the Nigeria Immigration Service Guest House at Ikoyi, Lagos State. A combined team of State Security Service, Nigeria Intelligence Agency, and Nigeria Immigration Service personnel interrogated us. We were accused of traveling out of Nigeria illegally as we did not pass through any of the official routes. It was further stated that we ought to have obtained security clearance since we were aware that our names were on the watch list compiled by the security forces. I pointed out to the interrogators that the so-called watch list was discriminatory and illegal. I referred to the case of Sugaba versus Minister of Interior, wherein the Court of Appeal had ruled that a Nigerian citizen has the right of egress and ingress. At that stage, we were asked to produce and submit our passports. We flatly turned down the request on the ground that they were likely to be confiscated to prevent us from further exercising our fundamental right to freedom of movement guaranteed by Article 12 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, Ratification and Enforcement Act. Indeed, we informed our interrogators that the passports were kept in the house of a comrade in Cotonou, Benin Republic, which was our adopted route for traveling out of Nigeria. Our interrogator said that they had confirmed from the airports, seaports, and land borders that we did not present our passports to immigration officers for stamping. We replied that on a daily basis, over 1 million Nigerian people travel in and out of Nigeria without stamping their passports in the artificial borders created by the British and French colonialists, which are maintained by the neo-colonialists in power in the member states of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, as the federal military regime was completely embarrassed by the global demand for our release. The security forces granted us bail pending the conclusion of investigation. Our lawyer, Chief Gani Fawemi, stood shorty for us and we were released to him. Even though we were detained for a week, we were not charged for the alleged offense of illegal traveling out of Nigeria. For the umpteenth time, the attention of the Senate and the security forces ought to be drawn to the case of the Speaker, Bauchi State House of Assembly versus Honorable Rifkatu Dana, 2017, 49 Weekly Report number 82. The respondent was the only woman in the House of Assembly of 31 members. She was suspended indefinitely for criticizing the relocation of the Tafawa Balewa local government area. As far as the House members were concerned, her speech was considered derogatory. In setting aside her indefinite suspension from the House, the Bauchi Chief Judge held that her suspension beyond 14 days was illegal and uncomfortable, but the Court of Appeal declared that the House lacks the vice to subject her to any form of suspension from the House, as it was a denial of the rights of the people of our Bogoro constituency to be represented in the government. In the leading judgment of the Court of Appeal, Tor JCA held inter alia that the acts of the appellants violated Articles 8 and 9 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights Act, which guarantee the respondents' fundamental rights to freedom of conscience, the right to receive and disseminate information, and to express opinions within the ambit of the law. Not even the military would have behaved in this dastardly manner. This is a flagrant abuse of the constitutional powers vested in the Speaker and members of the Bauchi State House of Assembly, which no right-thinking member of the society ought to tolerate. Finally, it is public knowledge that the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, had accused Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan of embarrassing the government and people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by reporting her suspension by the Senate to the Inter-Parliamentary Union. Contrary to the jaundiced views of the Senate leader, it is the official probe of the circumstances of her trip by security forces that will expose Nigeria to needless embarrassment and undeserved ridicule. Therefore, the SSS and NIA may study the report of the investigation of our illegal traveling by the Sani Abacha military junta before embarking on the futile attempt to probe Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan for having the temerity to externalize the internal affairs of the Senate. In fact, the probe will particularly embarrass some top officials of the Bola Tinubu administration who were once accused of traveling out of Nigeria to embarrass the defunct military junta. Well, Oga Femi has bared his mind on what he thinks is right for the Nigerian nation, Nigerian state, not to be involved in. As it is normal, there must be persons with different opinion from that of the learned Sikh. Some would want to argue that Natasha's problem and suspension came about by a sitting arrangement, and she wasn't suspended because of allegations of sexual harassment. But I don't think the issue has to do with her suspension now. It has to do with the inclination of the security agencies